Pessoal, então, ok para você?
Sim, claro.
Vamos lá. Pessoal, então estamos aqui finalizando a participação do Moving Boundaries 2022. Estamos aqui com a Tatiana Berger. A Tatiana é a grande idealizadora dessa ideia, em parceria com o Sergei Gepstein, que falou conosco agora há pouco. A Tatiana é arquiteta, ela vive nos Estados Unidos, atuante lá, e a gente tem o primeiro passo aqui, antes de começarmos a conversar com ela, é entendermos a dimensão do que ela fez, a dimensão do que ela trouxe, porque 2 semanas mantendo o time de faculties que ela tinha aqui, as pessoas que participaram, é um trabalho imenso, gigantesco, e me atrevo até a dizer que inédito nesse universo. Então a gente tem aqui, primeira coisa, agradecer inclusive a nossa audiência, né? Agradecemos ao feito aqui da Tatiana, mas vamos começar aqui a conversar com ela. Tatiana, first of all, thank you very much for your time with us, and I know that you could understand everything that I said, because a Tatiana fala português brilhantemente, mas ela preferiu gravar em inglês. So, first of all, again, thank you very much for all your efforts. It was something amazing what you did. 2 weeks, a lot of faculties, the most important names in architecture, neuroscience, psychology, and you as an architect, as a practitioner that you are, and professor too. Your perspective in relation to the moving boundaries in 2 steps. The first one, when you have this idea, oh, come on, I'm going to do something like that. A huge thing that you did. And the second one, as architect, bringing all this knowledge to the practice. And now that we just lived these 2 weeks, your feelings about that, your experience, and your point of view as a professional.
Sure. Well, before I answer, I would like to say, both Lori and Jessica, I'm so happy to see you here in Santiago and then in Porto, because you have been such wonderful supporters of our projects, of Moving Boundaries, and many others that we've. So thank you so much for your support.
Pleasure.
And it was just so nice to see you finally in person.
Yeah.
And to hug you. And to do
we
all
were
of
just
this
avatars.
together. Exactly, yes. So now to answer your question, for me this experience is very special because, of course, I worked with the architect Álvaro Siza for 7 years. And I know how important and how rich the architectural culture is, both in Porto and in Santiago de Compostela. So the first decision I had to make as one of the 2 directors of this program is, where are we going to embed this program? We wanted to select a very rich cultural context because, of course, architecture is culture. We need to have context in mind and landscape and the region when we design. And so we wanted to bring this to the students. We wanted to remind them how important it is to take care of our built environment and have a very sensitive attention to the context. And so for me, there's so many memories here after working with Álvaro Siza, and I was happy to share all of this with the participants. And certainly, architecture is in a deep crisis right now in many places around the world, but probably more so in the United States. And the crisis comes from the fact that the way architecture is being taught now does not focus on the human. The human is not at the center. And also the context, the urban context and landscape are not addressed. And so architecture is taught more as the creation of an aesthetic object. The focus is on the visual. And so we wanted to try to correct that approach by bringing people here and teaching embedded in this very immersive physical context that they could learn from. So I think this was one of the big successes. And then the second success was, of course, you guys and the rest of the community. I wanted to create a very strong community to help us bring this movement forward. So we do not finish here. There are next steps. Yeah. The community members are already very close friends, right?
Yeah,
and they are creating projects right now. They will be collaborating for many years to come. And I think that our movement can move forward successfully with that. And of course, the next Moving Boundaries in Guadalajara, Mexico, that we invite all of you to, will begin on March 27th. And that will be the second edition, the second part of this program, where we dive even deeper into some of the themes that we explored here.
That's great. And Tatiana, in your perspective, what is important for an architect now? Bring this concept, the neuroscience and the psychologists, to the daily life in the projects.
Certainly. Well, so as I said earlier, the big problem, both in architectural practice and education, is that we are no longer focusing on the human. Architects are not understanding how important it is to know about human biology, perception, all of the richness of the senses, and also, most importantly, we need to think more about the effect that the built environment has on our health, on our mental, spiritual, physical health. That is really the reason for this course, right? And so we believe that the architects need to be brought back to this very important human focus so that we can create healthy and sustainable and resilient architecture.
Yeah, that's great. And you really create a huge atmosphere, very pleasant to be here. And so the people can create some workshops also and show what they are doing. So
Absolutely.
It was amazing just to say thank you again.
You know, we see our course as there's no hierarchy. The faculty are also learning. The students, the participants are also so distinguished that they could easily be faculty themselves. And so we are a community of learners where we all work together. And that is very important, I think, this lack of hierarchy in the course. And in a way, when we bring in the life world, right, this wonderful world, which is the life world that we are trying to teach, bring architecture back to that life world. And we can teach that most successfully when we hold the course in these very rich environments where we learn not only from the lectures and the books and the round tables, but then we go out in the city and we learn from the city in a very direct, experiential way. That is really the goal of Moving Boundaries, and that will continue because we have our next course in Guadalajara, Mexico, another very rich environment, focusing on the work of Luis Barragan. And then we will continue holding these courses all over the world so that architects can become familiar and learn from these examples.
Great.
Yeah. Tatiana, again, thank you very much for this time with us, with the Brazilian audience, and thank you for all your efforts, for all your managing with that together with Sergey, and thank you very much. It was a pleasure to us. We would like to thank you about the workshop that we did twice.
Yes,
thank you very much for this space. So, pessoal, conversamos aqui com Tatiana Berger, que junto com o Sergey Gepstein trouxe essa realização do Moving Boundaries, novas edições chegando, então acompanhem por aí que o Moving Boundaries ainda vai trazer muitas e muitas novidades. Tatiana, just tchau em português.
Of course. Muito obrigada, pessoal. Tchau e até a próxima.
Eu não falei que ela é praticamente uma nativa. Obrigado.
Muito obrigada aos dois. Tchau, tchau.
Tchau.